Okay, looks like we are ready for the show. Are you guys ready?
Ready.
大家好，我今天要访问现实諮商中心主任伍伯登。现在我在他们的家，我等一下就要开始访问他们了。I'm in Dr. Wubbolding's house, and they are ready. So this is the Dr. Wubbolding.
Greetings, everyone who's watching the video on reality therapy.
Yeah, and there's the famous best assistant for our reality therapy center,
Sandie.
Good
to see you.
The famous wife.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll be in there. 大家好 Say hi.
Hello, everybody.
Okay, so this is the book I just published in March 2018. 这本书我在2018年3月出版。像其他的书都是伍伯登博士他所写的，他是在现实治疗中心的主任，他这方面的贡献很大。The rest of this book I published in March 2018. The rest of them, Dr. Wubbolding and Sandie, they put this all together. So that's why I want to interview them, because they are so important for the development in the reality therapy. Okay, so let's start it. Okay, the first question actually people always curious about why we call choice theory and reality therapy. Okay. 第一个问题我要问他，因为如果你们看那个书名，我上面是写说选择理论跟现实諮商。那我问他这是什么意思？为什么这两个要合在一起？ So can you give us some explanation?
All right. First of all, I'd like to thank you for the opportunity to do this. It's very nice of you to come a pretty good distance to conduct this interview. And I appreciate your commitment and your willingness to share this information around the world.
他说很感谢我这么努力，因为我要开2个钟头，从 Columbus 开到辛辛那提2个钟头来做这个访谈。他说很谢谢我，愿意把现实諮商这个讯息传达给全世人都知道。
And thank you for the question about the choice theory and reality therapy, because these two can get confused.
Yes, 他说也很谢谢我问他这个问题，因为很多人就是很困惑嘛，怎么一个理论还要叫做选择理论，还要叫做现实諮商，这很奇怪。他就很感谢我提出这个问题。Okay, so what's the answer?
So the answer is that choice theory is the explanation of human behavior. It's how the human mind functions.
他说选择理论是我们怎么去解释人类的行为，我们的那个脑筋是怎么样去运作的，这个是选择理论。So that's man's behavior, mind's function.
It's why people do what they do.
他说是为什么人会去做他们做的事情。
And reality therapy is what you do to make some changes in your life. How to do it and how to help people make some changes.
所以那现实諮商就是那你怎么去改变人是这样想的，那你怎么去改变？你怎么去做改变到你要去的改变
Let me make this very clear, because Glasser, the founder of reality therapy, said that choice theory is like the train track.
Okay. 他说那个 Glasser 就是我们这个现实諮商的那个创造的人他说这个选择理论就像那个火车的铁轨一样。
And reality therapy is the train.
现实諮商是一辆火车。
You need both. The train track gives the sense of direction.
所以我们需要2个都需要。Train track gives us direction.
Yes.
那个铁轨给我们人生的那个方向。
And the train is the vehicle which delivers the product.
那个现实諮商是一个火车，火车就是一个工具，它 让我们可以去到我们想去的地方。
So choice theory explains how people function, and then reality therapy tells you what to do about it.
所以选择理论告诉我们人是怎么样，人的功能怎么样运作，然后现实諮商教我们怎么去处理，怎么去达到那个目标。Okay. So then, because you have a new book called Change.
Yes.
So 他出版了一本书，题目叫做《现实 Reality Therapy and Self-Evaluation: The Key to Climate Change》，就是说怎么样让案主能够改变的要件。When it is published?
2017.
2017. 2017年啊，刚刚出版。
It's published by the American Counseling Association, which is the premier U.S. organization for counseling.
这是那个美国諮商學會他所出版的。那如果能夠在美國諮商學會出版的書，就是都是很好、很棒，他們才願意出版。Right?
Yes.
Excellent. You understand Chinese? That's good. Okay. So actually, it's important because we may curious about why reality therapy, right? 所以我要问他说，那学派很多啊，那他怎么去跟这个现实諮商学派连在一起的 ？Okay, give us your connection with
my connection.
Yeah,
okay.
From early time, as early as you want.
Sure. Well, I've always been a person who's thought we ought to do something about how we live and to try to improve it. So after I finished my doctorate a few decades ago, I went to some different training seminars, and one was on behaviorism, Adlerian, rational emotive, and I went to Youngstown, Ohio, for a 2-day program put on by a man named Ed Ford, who was living in Youngstown at the time, and I just liked that one the best. And so I asked him, where do you go for more information?
他说他拿到博士之后呢，他就在想说，那他怎么样，有什么学派可以帮助他来帮助人做成长跟改变？然后他就去了很多的训练，然后呢，终于去到一个就是 Youngstown， 大概要开5到6个钟头到 Youngstown 去参加一个训练。那参加那个训练完以后，他发现，这个训练很好，那就是一个现实諮商的训练，所以他就问这个负责训练说，那你要怎么样深入去认识这个学派 ？Okay.
And so he said most of the training was conducted in Los Angeles by Glasser himself.
Okay. 他说，所以那个人就跟他介绍说，这个諮商學派，現實諮商學派是 William Glasser， 他就是这个 founder 哈，这个学派的创始者。那他其实是 Cleveland 出生的，但是他后来的训练都是在加州，那离这里其实是蛮远的。So
I just kept going for different trainings out there. I went 4 times in 1 year. For example, in other years I went also.
Okay. 所以他就开始去接受训练。Then what made you finally decide, okay, this?
Well, I just decided I liked it because I liked the method, and as I observed Glasser do it, and so I said that's for me.
Okay. 所以他学了好几年以后，看到那个 William Glasser 这个创始者在带领的那个諮商技巧，就觉得说，这个就是我要的。So then you create.
Well, then I was able to attend the first certification week in Los Angeles. I was on my way to teach in Japan, and I went through Los Angeles, and I was certified when I left there.
It's in which year?
1975.
在1975年，他刚好要去日本，那他就先停到加州，然后在那边接受那个训练，还拿到证书。So then you become certified.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then I became an instructor, and then he asked me to be director of training for his organization.
Okay. 所以后来他就加入，变成他们的训练师，然后 William Glasser 就邀請他可不可以當這個訓練的負責人。So then at that time it's all in California, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
All the training was in California.
Okay. And how do you decide to form a center in Cincinnati?
Well, then he started having trainings around the country, and they were 4.5 days at that time.
Yeah. 所以后来就发现说，其实那个训练很多，大家需求很强，所以他就觉得说，他想在这里设立一个现实智商中心。
So he appointed me to be an instructor when I came back from Japan.
Okay.
And then I started doing it here, and I used the name Center for Reality Therapy, which he endorsed.
Okay. 所以他从日本回来以后，他就封他为讲师，然后他也 Glasser 封册给他，他允许他在辛辛那提设立一个现实智商中心。
Okay.
Okay.
And then I just thought, well, I could write a book.
Yeah.
And I wrote a book. It's not here, but it's called Using Reality Therapy in 1988, a long time ago.
所以他就开始写他的第一本书。Say again the name.
Using Reality Therapy.
怎么使用现实智商 ？That's the first book.
Yes.
Yeah.
I helped to type it.
Yeah, this one. Okay, let's come to introduce this lady. Sandie Wubbolding is the lover and the wife.
Yeah.
So how long you guys have been married?
37 years.
And I'm only 39 years old, right?
他们结婚37年，但是其实所有他出的书都是这个人打字的。You are the best editor and typer.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. So do you want to tell us about? I know when you are editing, typing, you have feeling for the theory, right?
Yes.
我问他说他在打的时候因为他也参与 ，you also part of the instructor, also trainer.
Practicum supervisor.
Yeah.
Yes.
他也当督导，实习督导。所以我来问看他对这个现实智商的感觉是什么。So what's your feeling about reality therapy? It's really as good as what he said.
Oh, it's wonderful. We were married in November of 1982, and he invited Dr. Glasser to speak. So I was on the committee, and then I thought, I better learn reality therapy. So that summer, I studied reality therapy for the first time.
Wow. Okay. 所以因为他一直在帮助他，后来想，那我自己也来学好了。So which year you start to get the training?
Would be 82, 1982.
1982年的时候，他就 involved 了。所以这个是 I said this is the model of the wife. 这是一个妻子的典范，不仅帮助先生，而且更融入先生的领域里面去。So then you guys have the same topic.
Yes, and he's the thinker and the creator. He sees the whole picture. His mind goes everywhere, and I do the details. I bring him down to the present.
哇，大家有没有听到这个？这个很棒哎。
Yes.
他说，先生是一个思想家，他天马行空的想很多东西。然后 Sandie 是实行家，他把他的想法打成字。
And we go to workshops all the time, the reality therapy workshops, and the conventions. And he keeps reading, and I keep reading. So it's a continuous, ongoing study and development.
所以他们都会一起去参加研讨会、参加训练会，然后两个继续研读，然后再把这个想法合起来，变成一个现代更新的现实治疗。So let's jump a little. So where did you see the reality therapy go?
Where did I see it go?
Yeah.
Well,
because you guys keep thinking, right? 因为他们一直继续思考，所以我在问他们会把现实智商带到哪里去
Well, I think what I have tried to do and committed myself to doing in this field is to get reality therapy in the mainstream of counseling systems, respected in the professions.
I thought already mainstream. You want to be even more?
Yeah.
Okay. 他要继续，因为他会觉得说，现实智商有时候好像 还没有完全在那个主流里面，所以他们很努力的要继续努力写这么多书，一直去给人家训练，他们希望让他能够在主流社会得到更多的重视。
For a long time, it was not even included in the textbooks.
他说一直以来很久都没有被放在现实之上。Do you know I learned real therapy when I'm undergraduate in Taiwan?
Did you?
Yeah. So we include that.
Yeah.
我告诉他们说，我们在台湾很早就学到现实諮商了，但是在美国好像没有。所以我们在台湾还蛮幸运，但是 we are very lucky.
Yes.
I learned it in Taiwan.
In Taiwan. Good.
Yeah. But actually, my idea a little bit different when I learned there than when I learned from you guys.
Yeah.
Because when I learned there, I feel the theory a little bit strict, because I just remember it's no excuse, and I don't really know the really human touch part. But then after I get you guys training, I start to realize, no, this is real good stuff. We should not be misunderstanding that part.
I think there is still some of that.
Yeah.
Some of that harshness that people think reality therapy is.
Yeah. 我跟他解释说，我在台湾学的时候，因为那时候在念大学的时候都被教说，现实资料就说不能有借口，然后觉得好像很严苛的样子。但是我后来来参加他们的训练以后，才发现说其实不是，其实现实资料是很人性的，它是去接触到人的本性那个部分，所以我才对他有新的了解。那我的解释说，其实还是很多人有那种误解。So that because different people preach the theory.
Yeah, I think the theory is not harsh. The delivery system is not harsh.
Yeah.
But sometimes it can be used by people who are a little bit forceful.
他说，其实理论本身是很友善的，但是可能有人在执行的时候没有注意到，然后可能就把自己的那个部分放进去，就把它变成是很严格的。So can you tell us a little bit about what did you remember or impress about Dr. William Glasser?
Yeah, good.
Now I'm going to do is I will let you talk about Glasser, and I'm going to go there to check to see if everything okay.
I want to give full credit to William Glasser, who was a psychiatrist. He died in the year 2013, August 23rd. And he was trained in the traditional methods of psychiatry and worked in a mental hospital as a young intern, and decided that holding people responsible and stressing the fact that many of their behaviors were chosen, he decided that was more effective. And he worked this out with his supervisor, Dr. Harrington. He always would quote Dr. Harrington. Even in his later years, Glasser referred to him as my teacher, his teacher, Dr. Harrington. And so he developed his ideas in the setting of a mental hospital and a correctional institution. Right, and then as he developed it there, he was asked to give lectures, and he lectured on the theory and the method throughout California, and then his reputation spread throughout North America and subsequently throughout the world. So now, skipping ahead, we have institutes around the world, in South Africa, in Korea, in Japan, in Singapore, in Ireland, I mean all over, North Africa. I've been to Kuwait myself 3 or 4 times, and now we have John Brackell, who lives in the United Kingdom, who goes to Kuwait often, and he just returned from Hong Kong. And so he's a close associate of mine, and so it's spread, and there are these, as I say, these organizations around that take their inspiration from Dr. Glasser.
Yeah. So maybe let me ask you a question. 我来问他一个问题，因为很多人我在讲现实諮商的时候，很多人会好奇，因为 Glasser 是一个精神科医师，但是他其实不太赞成病人来使用药物。Okay, so a lot of people have a curious about that one point that Dr. Glasser hated medication. right? He didn't like. He said the symptom is a excuse. Then he didn't really agree with medication. What do you think about this way?
Yeah, I got that question quite a bit, Fang-Mei, about medication, because he did say some kind of negative things about medication, and he was not let's say, thrilled with the idea of giving medication to people.
Yeah. 所以他是说是对他的印象也是Dr. Glaser 是不太同意这个药物。So how about you?
Well,
我来问那他呢
I'm a counselor and I also have a psychology license, so I'm not a medical person. So regardless of my own personal opinion, we in the field who are not psychiatrists, and this is very important that people understand this, we need to be aware of what's called the standard of practice, or the scope of practice, the standard of care. We cannot tell people not to take their medication. Medical therapy is a legitimate form of therapy, regardless of whether I like it or regardless of anybody likes it. And so I have referred people for medication. Why? Not because, well, we know that many people are over-medicated. That's not the point. The point is that they have a right to be checked as far as whether they need medication. And I recommend we not violate people's rights. And we refer them when necessary. But that doesn't mean we think that's the main therapy.
Yeah. 他说，其实我们现在在做这个心理咨商，那我们就是要跟随就是标准的做法。那我们没有权利去剥夺人家使用药物的权利。那当然就说他们药物是医生给他们的，那我们就尊重他，我们也推荐他们去看医师。那如果医师觉得他们应该使用药，我们没有权利剥夺那个权利，因为我们是諮商师，我们是心理学家啊，我们不是精神科医师。
In other words, we who do the work in the field, in the grassroots level, your students, and your practitioners that you've trained, they have a responsibility that goes beyond any theory. For example, to know that some of their clients might need some medication.
所以他说，你在帮助人的时候，有时候你不能只固守在你的理论说什么，有时候你要注意到你病人或你案主的需要。如果他们真的需要说，你要超出你的理论，然后去做对他们最有益的事情。
So if somebody asks me, should I take this medication? I say, I don't know. Check with your doctor.
Okay, that's a very good answer. 所以他说，如果病人问他的案主问他说，我要不要吃这个药？说我不知道啊，你就问你的医生啊。我想这样是很重要，因为我们不知道，我们就要说不知道 ，right? If we don't know, we say we don't know.
Right. And if they say, well, do you have an opinion? I say, I have no opinion.
就对方说，那你有没有意见？给我意见，因为我们很多人最喜欢听人家的建议。说没有，他说我没有建议。Okay, let's switch to another about the choice, right? Because this theory, based on the choice theory, believe everything is determined by your choice.
Oh, good.
Right?
That is a second major point in reality therapy, is this idea of choosing.
我们现在来谈谈这个选择，因为这个理论很强调说，很多事情人生是一个选择的结果。Actually, I can say, I decided to come to your training a couple years ago. That's how I get to know you guys. So then that's how I can interview you guys today. So that choice made me come today. 我说，因为我几年前决定去参加他们的训练，每次拿到他们的广告单都觉得好烦了。我已经知道现实治疗，我干嘛还要接受训练？我还觉得，我去看看好了。结果没想到有很好的结果，还认识他们。I say when I first time get the brochure, I say I already know drug therapy. I don't need to get training. But then finally I say, if they keep sending me, there must be message. So I respond. So I came to the training, I get new insight, get to know you guys, and that's part of my choice. Okay, tell us more.
So those are clear choices.
Yeah.
Now, when a person gets depressed, is that a choice? Well, there may be some element of choice.
Okay.
But I suggest do not tell clients they're choosing their feelings. Because that is, I'm just giving you my opinion now. I think that adds to the problem.
所以他说，他提醒我们哦，就说如果案主是有忧郁的，你不要告诉他说你是选择有忧郁哦，这样会让他们更忧郁。So then, what should we do?
But we can ask them, when you feel bad, what do you do? What are you doing? So we try to take that emphasis on their feelings and translate it into action.
所以他说，我们现实智商就是把他们的感觉转到行动。Ask them, what do you do when you feel that?
Yeah.
Okay, so tell us the car. How the car relates to
Well,
this.
the car represents 4 components of behavior. Your actions, your thinking, your emotions or your feelings, and your physiology.
如果你们如果有看我的书第9章，就是现实智商，有一辆车。那这辆车就是格拉瑟所说的人的行为，那前面2个是思想跟行动，那后面2个是生理反应跟感觉。
Feelings are like, they're very important because they come to the surface very quickly. But when a person is caught up in their resentment or their anger or their depression or whatever it may be, the feelings of loneliness, they don't just say, well, I'll feel better or I'll decide to not feel upset. No, we need to help them make some action choices.
Okay.
And so very often a person who is depressed sits around and they don't do anything and they lack energy.
Yeah. 所以感觉其实是在后面那个轮子，所以很多人若忧郁，他就坐在那边没有做什么事，他是不会改善，他应该是在前面那个轮子去 do something, right? The front wheel do something 去做一些事情，那就可以改善他的忧郁。
But people don't choose their feelings in the sense of saying, today I'm going to feel good. Today I'm going to feel bad. So we aim at helping them do something that brings them joy.
因为人自己不会说我今天选择要忧郁或今天选择要快乐，是你去做一些事情，那引导你后面的感觉。所以我们当諮商師就是帮助他们去做选择，他们的行动。You help them to choose what they are going to do.
Yes.
And they will impact and influence their feeling.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So, okay, you give us. 他刚刚说他可以给我们第一点是我们刚刚提到药物嘛。The first point is medication. The second one is choice. 第2个是选择好。他刚刚说还有第3点。He said third point. So what's third point?
Are you ready for the third
Yes.
point?
Okay. Are you guys ready for the third point?
Yes.
大家有准备好了吗？他给我们第3个。
If you're watching this, everyone say yes.
Say yes. Yes.
Okay. So the third point, and these are controversial points within the reality therapy organization and within the thinking of many people.
Yeah.
So the third point is, what is the role of past behavior?
他说过去这个 past 过去这个角色在现实諮商里面是一个什么样的他们一个定位 ？Okay, past.
So the question is, do we ever talk about it? And some people say, I don't want to talk about the past. We're only going to talk about the present. Well, go ahead.
Okay. 他说有些人不要谈过去，他说我才不要谈过去嘞。那有些人说我要谈过去，那应该怎么样呢 ？Okay.
I refer to a famous quote by an American novelist, William Faulkner.
Okay, 他现在要告诉我们一个有名的小说家。
He said, "The past is never dead."
The past is never
dead.
Never dead. 他的小说家说，过去 过去是从来不会死掉的，是不会不见的。
In fact, it is never past.
事实上，过去其实从来不是过去的 ，never past， 从来不会不见的。
Now that may be.
Okay, let's say one more time.
The past is never dead.
The past is never dead.
In fact, it is not even past.
In fact, it's not even past.
Take a person who has suffered a trauma, perhaps child abuse in their early years, or warfare. During war, they suffered trauma.
比如说，有一个人，他小时候受过创伤。
Their thinking about it and their feelings about it are very current.
他们的感觉跟他们的思想，关于那一个创伤，其实是在现在的感觉跟现在的想法。
And there are many ways to treat this. Some people will have them recount the incident again. Some people will have them, tell the story of what happened.
有不同的处理方式。有些人是叫他们去重述那个经验，或是讲一些故事。You say recount and tell the story,
yes.
right? Okay.
But in reality therapy, a good way to treat this, not the only way, but to talk about how that impacts your life now.
OK， 所以现实諮商的諮商師就問他說，那一件事情怎麼影響到你現在的生活
In other words, suppose you were in a war, and you witnessed terrible things, and you come home and they have a lot of problems. Some people, not all of them, but some veterans have a lot of problems when they come home.
他舉例說，像出去參戰的軍隊的軍人啊，他回來之後，他會有很多問題，因為他那些創傷遇到的那些經驗，他會帶回來，所以他會有很多的問題。
So I would not suggest ignoring the past.
所以我們諮商師不可以說啊，把它忘記就好了。
If you want to tell me about it, I'll listen.
告訴他說，如果你願意告訴我，我會傾聽。
But also we would say, if this did not bother you so much, what would you be doing?
那我們甚至可以問他說，如果這件事情其實不干擾你的話，如果沒有這件事情干擾你的話，你現在是在做什麼？
Reality therapy can't make every problem disappear.
所以這個很重要。現實諮商沒有保證說是讓所有的問題都消失的。
But we can help such a person improve, get better.
但是我們可以幫助他們改善，讓他的人生更好。
So that's what I mean by past behavior and how it relates to the present, because there's a line in a novel by Agatha Christie.
That's another one.
Yeah.
所以他說，他強調像結論是剛才說的，所以說過去的問題是從來不會消失的。然後他現在再給我們另外一個 also novelist， 另外一個小說家的名言哦，仔細聽哦 ，everybody listen carefully. Another good quote is coming.
Okay, Hercule Poirot. This is his name. Hercule Poirot.
Poirot, that's the person's name.
Yes.
這個人叫做 Hercule Poirot.
He's a detective.
他是 detective， 就是偵探家。
He said the sins of the past cast a long shadow.
他說過去的罪惡可以做讓我們的影子變得很長，它一直跟隨你。So that means they keep following you.
Yeah. So now I'm not saying we keep talking about the past endlessly.
Yeah.
But we have to at least acknowledge it.
Okay. 所以这个不是说我们在治疗的时候一直跟他们讲过去，但是我们至少一定要让案主說我知道了，我聽到這個故事。
So yeah, so those I think are three kind of controversial issues, but I think they're quite reconcilable with reality therapy.
Okay. 他說雖然這三個主題好像有點不太一致，有點衝突矛盾，但是他們其實是一致的。So then I know in his Glass's book he keep talking about we should keep every words into ing as we continue. 在 Glass 的書，比如說他說 depression， 他就說 depressing ing。那我來問他這個是一個什麼樣的情況 ？Can you tell us more?
Well, he liked that idea to teach that these are behaviors, they're not static conditions.
OK， 因为格拉瑟在教书教的时候，他要告诉我们说，其实所有的行为都不是已经固定、永远不变的。It's a continuum.
Yeah, but most people don't talk like that. They just say depression.
Yeah, I know. 其实平常人家都不这样说，但是格拉瑟说，其实这样。Why he wanted to emphasize ing?
He wanted to emphasize it as a behavior, something that's happening.
Okay.
You know, you're not just depressed. You're generating from the inside these feelings.
他强调，格拉瑟强调说，事情都是继续发生的，不是你忧郁，不是说你就是忧郁在那里，而是整个情况一直在发生。所以 ，Does that mean you can change it if you want, because it's continuous?
Yeah. It's an active kind of thing, and so you can change it. But how do you change the feelings? Through the doing.
因为加 ing 就是一个动名词嘛，所以它是进行的，所以你可以透过改变的行动，让那个感觉改变。Yeah. Did you agree that point too yourself?
Do I agree?
Yeah.
Oh, of course.
Of course， 他也同意这个。Okay. So
I don't disagree with anything that in reality therapy, but I think we have to adapt it, extend it, and a few things. I mean, the basic theory and the delivery system are more important than some of these side issues. But students and many people pick up on the side issues like medication.
Okay.
And they think, well, that's essential to reality therapy to be against medication, and it is not.
Not. 所以他说我们在学的时候，我们要注意它的主要的概念，就是那辆火车跟铁轨。那至于其他像那个药物使用啊，那是一个额外的题目，那个不是最重点。但是他说有些人在学的人就只专注在那边挑剔那些东西。他说其实那个是不用的。So what field people use RIA therapy in here right now?
What field?
Yeah, I know in the counseling, right?
Oh, in counseling especially.
Yeah. And what else?
Applied to addictions. Applied to trauma, applied to general relationship problems in families.
Yeah. So 现实諮商
teaching and nursing.
Teaching in nursing.
Nursing.
OK. 所以他说现实諮商有用在教导护士啊，然后那个创伤啊，然后药物使用啊，这些其实现实諮商可以用到很广的地方。So if people want to learn RIA therapy, where they should start it? 我问他，如果
They want to learn it?
现实諮商 ，Yeah， 他怎么开始
I think they should read one of my books first of all.
第一个是看书 ，OK， 你在台湾就看我的书，你如果喜欢读英文就读他们的书。Reading is very important.
Oh, I think it is, especially the most recent one because there's a lot of cases, dialogues.
他说他最新的这本书有很多的对话，所以会很有帮助。我那一本书也很多案例，也是会很有帮助。
But more than that, or simultaneously with that, is to attend some training workshops.
而且更进一步，你要参加训练，因为训练会让你有真的实务的经验。
Because in those workshops, you hear a person talk about it, and then you practice it.
因为在参加训练的时候，你不仅看到教的人教你，而且你还可以实务的演练。
So, in that way, it has become very widely used and widely practiced because many people have attended these training workshops around the world.
他说，因为很多人都来参加训练，所以现在很多人会把这个现实諮商用到不同的领域去，甚至到全世界去。So now you have been working for, you guys devoted this for 30 years, right? 30 something.
At least. Maybe more.
If your life is from the beginning, are you still choose RIA therapy?
Oh yeah, sure.
Yeah, okay. 他说
I've written 17 books on it. I've written 17 books with the help of my wife, of course, and so obviously we're committed to it.
Yeah. 他说，如果人生再重新选择一次，他还是会选择諮商学派，因为 他觉得这个是很好，而且他已经写了17本书了。So any more book coming?
I'm working on one.
Working on one. Okay. How long take you to finish one book?
That's a good question.
Yeah.
This one took 2 years.
他说这一本书花2年，
This one took 3 yeyears.
这本书花3年，
This took 7 years.
这本书花7年
Okay.
Yeah.
And this took about 2 years.
有2年。
Yeah.
So
This was published in England.
这本书是在英国出的。
So, and the one book is my training booklet. I don't know how long that took.
Okay.
But so you know, these are they take time. Now some people can write faster than that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
not everybody is as slow as I
Yeah.
am.
So how often you talk about real therapy?
Every
他们
day.
在人生的过程，因为夫妻一起做嘛，他们多常谈到这个现实之上。You say every day?
Oh, I think every day. Sure.
Every day.
Sure.
You apply that to your life?
Yeah, we're like anybody else. We try, but sometimes we fail.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
Nobody does this perfectly.
Nobody. Can you give us a little bit about WDEP?
Yeah,
That's
I
okay.
can.
我们现在来请他来介绍一下 WDEP，这在我书上有讲，但是听听他怎么讲。Okay.
Well, I think it's become a widespread way to teach reality
Yeah.
therapy. And what I've tried to do, having been a teacher all my life, is formulate the delivery system of reality therapy in a way people can remember it.
所以他们在教的时候，就是要用一个很简单的方式，让大家都会记得。Okay, so let's start with W.
Yeah.
我们从 W 开始。
Yeah, yeah. And the W represents exploring with the client or clients in
Yeah.
a group
Yeah.
Everything that they want, what they want that they're getting, what they want that they're not getting, and what they want intensely, what they can settle for.
Yeah.
A lot of different
Yeah.
aspects of it.
So one 就是他会问案主，你到底要什么？你到底想要什么？他觉得这个他可以天马行空，他要什么他都可以说。
But it also stands for their perceptions, how they see the world around them.
所以你问他要什么时候，你又可以看到他的知觉，可以看到他对整个他人生、他的周围，他觉知到什么东西。
And especially where they see their control, inside or outside.
或也可以看到他感到自己对人生的掌握，对自己的掌握跟对外在的掌握。
So some people have an external sense of control. Not everything is beyond them. They can't do anything.
有些人就觉得自己是被外在控制的，好像我什么事都不能做，都是被控制的。
So our goal is to help them see that they have more control than they think they have.
所以现实智商就是要让他们知道说，他们自己其实是有掌控权，比他们自己想象的还多。
And then the D is what are you doing for doing? But D stands for action, thinking, feeling, and physiology.
所以它的 D 就是 is that car？
It's like the car. Yeah.
所以呢 D 就是行动，就是我们说那一辆车的4个元素，就是行动、想法、感觉跟生理反应。
Exactly.
Exactly. You guys are good. You know in Chinese, yes. Okay.
So, and then the E, the E is for self-evaluation.
那个 E 就是评量 evaluation， 就是你要自我评量。
And I wrote that that's the key to client change because that's what Glasser said it was.
Okay.
So if the reason it is so important is that people tend to repeat the same behavior even though it's not helping them.
那很重要，因为很多人一直重复同样的行为，即使那个行为其实都一点都没有帮助，还是重复。So that's why we need to evaluate.
Yeah. I use the example of a person who misplaces their car keys. Or anything else, but that's a good example.
他常常用一个例子，就说有人不晓把自己车子钥匙放哪里的。
And what we do as human beings is look for them over and over again in the same place.
所以我们在找车子钥匙，我们都一直在找同样的地方，结果都找不到。
And the question is this working?
所以你要问自己说，我这样找得到吗？
And if it's not working, try something else.
如果找不到，那你可不可以试别的方法？
Yeah. So now we all do that, I think, as human beings, but people who are in some kind of emotional trouble do it more. Do what does not work more.
他说，虽然我们一般都会这样做，但是如果人有遇到有困难的人，有困难思考，或心里比较有困难的人，常常就会固着在某一种特定的行为上。
For example, if I talk to a parent and they have trouble with their children, I will ask them, do you argue and do you blame your son or daughter?
所以，比如说他在帮助父母的时候，他会问说：你会常常责备或怪罪你的小孩吗？
Do you criticize them?
你批评他们吗？
And oftentimes they'll say yes. Of course, I argue with them. You talk. This is a longer conversation.
所以很多父母就说：当然了，我当然要骂他们啦。
And then the question is that getting you where you want to go? Does that help your relationship? Does it get them to change?
所以他就问他说：那你这样一直骂他们，一直责备他们，你可以让他们改变吗？你可以让他们达到你想要他们达到的成长吗？
And usually they'll see that no, it doesn't help.
那所以通常这样问的案主就会说：好像没有什么帮助。
So then the key question is, if what you're doing is not working, do you want to do something else?
所以你就问他，那所以呢？既然你原来做的方法都行不通，那你要不要改变啊？
And then that's the plan of action.
所以那就可以进到下一步，就是计划。P 就是 plan， action.
What's the plan of action?
Yeah.
So we try to aim at helping them make a plan. Even the first time we talk to somebody.
Yeah. 所以我们的重点就是，其实要带他们进到计划里面。虽然即使是在第一次。
But maybe we can't get that far. But the idea is the idea is with the WDEP, it provides a structure for where we're going.
所以 WDEP 是让做一个好的结构，然后帮助他们去到我们要他们要把带到就是计划的这个形式。
It's like a roadmap.
就像给他们一个地图一样。
I want to say one more thing about a very important aspect. There is something we call the therapeutic alliance.
他现在要跟我们讲一个很重要的，就是讲到治疗性的关系。
And this is common to all counseling.
这在很多理论上都会强调治疗的关系。
But it's made up of three things which fit quite nicely with reality therapy.
那在现实諮商有3个重点，跟就是那个治疗关系跟现实諮商可以很配合在一起。
First is the relationship.
第一个就是强调关系 relationship。
And this is at the heart and soul of effective reality therapy. Does the client or do the students, if it's a class, do they feel connected with us?
他说这个很重要，在做现实諮商的时候，你跟案主、跟学生的关系是很重要的。
And then, can we agree on goals for this process of counseling or teaching or whatever it may be? Goals.
第二个就是你案主跟諮商师有没有同意你那个目标的设定，是不是我们彼此2个都是有同意的？
And then strategies for getting to those goals.
然后第3个就是你提供那些处理策略，要帮助他们达到那个目标。
So there's the relationship
relationship 关系
and the agreed upon goals.
对目标的同意，
And then agreed upon strategies or steps to get there.
同意可以怎么样可以进到那里 ？How about if whatever we think should be good for client, but client disagree, what should we do? 我说如果我们觉得很好，但是案主不同意。
That can happen.
Yeah.
And what we do is ask them if they think what they're doing is really and truly helping them.
OK， 那我们就问他，好啊，你不同意，那你原来做的方法是不是对你有帮助？
And it depends on our relationship. One thing is, I can help you if you're willing to make a few changes, at least temporarily.
所以可以问他说，好，如果你愿意做一点改变，即使只是暂时性的改变，那我就可以帮助你。
You know, when you go to the family physician, if you don't want to do what they say, don't go.
所以，比如说你去看医生，如果医生告诉你什么，你也不遵循，那就不要去嘛。
But most people will do what they say.
OK，
At least they say they intend to do it.
So then, in the case you say, then if you don't want to change, don't come to see me.
Well, not quite. No, that's a little harsh.
我开玩笑说，那是不是如果个案不听你的话，你就说那你就不要来？他说这样有点太过分了。
I would say keep coming a few times and let's see what we can work out.
他会说你就再来几次嘛，看我们能够怎么样一起合作来帮助你改善。
Yeah. And then you try to connect with them, try to relate to them. At least one thing I like about this is that you say what you think.
他说这个很好，就是说你说你想的，你就把它知行合一。
And then of course the question I've always asked for a long time, what do you have to lose by trying something? Like go ahead.
他说你就问他说，你就试试看嘛，有会失去什么吗？了不起就是多来几次而已嘛，不会有什么损失的啦。
A parent yells at their kids, and I say, well, if you stop yelling for a couple of days, what do you got to lose?
所以比如说父母很喜欢骂小孩，你就说那你几天不要骂，不会怎样吧？
Chances are your blood pressure will go down.
也许会让你的血压降低呀。
I don't guarantee that, but it might.
他说他没有保证哦，但是如果你不吼叫你的小孩不骂，也许哦你的血压可以降低哦。I think a lot of parents want that, right?
Yeah.
其实我知道我们很多人血压高的人都希望血压不要升高，那就不要生气吧。
But so anyway, those are some ways to deal with people who kind of object to the whole process.
Yeah, and then I know also Real Therapy talk about 5 needs, right?
Yes.
5 needs. 在我那个书上有一个椅子 ，it's a chair, right? 然后有5个需求。Do you want to tell us a little bit about those needs?
The needs, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, this is in the choice theory, and reality therapy makes it practical.
所以在选择理论讲到我们人有5个需求，这在我的书里面有，然后现实治疗把它用出来。
And we say human behavior, which is the car, originates from these 5 needs.
现实治疗是根据那个5个需求。Let's talk about finding. Maybe some people don't know.
The first one is survival.
The first one, 他先说，第一个需求是生存的需求 ，survival.
Or self-preservation.
Or self-preservation, 就也是自我的生存。
Your body will generate behaviors to preserve itself, like circulating the blood.
所以我们身体自己也会自己运作调节，让我们不要失去一些能量。
And then the other need, and probably the most important one in the work that most of your students do, and most of your colleagues do, is the need for belonging or connectedness with other people.
可能很多人会需要这个，就是归属感被爱的需求。
And you know that when you have healthy relationships, your problems might not go away, but they become more bearable.
所以他说，当我们有好的人际关系，有被爱的时候，虽然问题可能不会马上消失，但至少你还比较能够忍受一些。如果你有个好的人际关系。
And then the third need is power. I like the phrase inner control.
You like okay power 或 inner control， 就是人有掌控权，内在的掌控权。
You mean, in other words, you feel in charge of your life.
你觉得你是在掌控你的人生。
For example, if you go to the physician and the physician says you're in excellent health, you feel in control of your life.
比如说你去看医生，那医生说，你身体状况很好，你就我可以掌控我的人生。
So that's what I mean by power. Not power over somebody, but an inner sense of achievement and accomplishment.
所以那个掌控权不是说去掌控别人，而是掌控自己的人生。
The next one is freedom or making choices.
第4个是自由或是做选择。
We ask people, what choices do you have today?
你问别人，你今天要做一些什么选择啊？
Sometimes people say, I have no choices.
有时候人家说我没有选择权。
And I say, if you had a few choices, what would they be?
你就问他说，那如果你有选择权，那你会选择什么？
So the choices or freedom, or another way of looking at it is independence, standing on your own 2 feet.
所以选赏自由 and the freedom, right? We talk about freedom, right?
Freedom or independence.
我们若想到自由或是独立，那就是表示你愿意自己站起来。And we get to the last one.
And the last one is fun.
Yeah, 最后一个人的需求就是快乐。
And so when you don't know what to do with somebody, you can ask them, when was the last time you really had fun?
所以如果说你跟案主讨论的时候，你可以问他说，你最后一次感觉有快乐是在什么时候？
And in a family, when was the last time you did something together that was enjoyable?
如果你处理一个家庭的问题，问他说，你什么时候是最后一次你全家可以快乐一起玩的时候？
And most of the time, when there's tension in a family, it's been a long time since they had fun together.
有时候家里的问题存在太久了，离他们快乐时光好像离得很远。So what do we do? We bring them the fun memory.
Well, we ask them to if they're willing to do something together when they don't argue, when they don't blame each other, and when they don't criticize.
所以我问他，你们有什么时候可不可以尝试一下，就不要互相批评，不要互相争论，可以一起玩。
Go to Grader's
什么样计划？What?
Go to Grader's for ice cream.
Sandie 说，那就一起全家去吃冰淇淋啊。那 Grader Ice Cream 在美国是一个很有名的冰淇淋店啊，全家去吃冰淇淋。That's a good way to get to have fun, right?
We have a company here in this town.
Yeah.
Called Graders, and they have the best ice cream.
他现在帮 Grader 做广告。
And I taught Cindy Grader French in high school.
Yeah, she taught the one daughter in high school.
Okay, Sandie 有教他们的 this Grader 的那个店的冰淇淋店的小孩。Okay, well, I steal a lot of your knowledge.
You can have it all.
我偷了他很多的知识啊。So okay, so. Now, I think we should conclude this interview. Okay. Do you have fun?
Yes.
For this interview?
Oh,
Yeah.
This has been enjoyable.
So your needs have been fulfilled, right?
Yes.
所以他觉得这个 interview 是有快乐的。Okay.
And being with you again.
A sense of belonging.
Sense of
among us.
belonging. Right. So
Yeah.
Sandie, come
Fun.
sit here. You will feel belonging. The end. 他说。他觉得今天有快乐，是因为我来看他们，因为我大概有2-3年没来看他们，所以我们有感觉是我们有快乐的在一起。So love, right? And then, do you feel you're in control for the interview?
Oh yeah. I love talking about this, especially when somebody's recording it.
Right, and then live show. 他说很高兴有这个 live show 哈，大家都可以看到他。You know that phone get to the whole world.
Wow.
What happened?
The phone.
Oh yes, of course.
说这个手机把它带到全世界，所以他觉得他还 you should feel power, not just in control. You power, you're so powerful.
A surge of power.
Your power, and then we survive.
We made it through.
We make through. And what else?
And students around the world will see this, right?
Yes. And then they'll be there forever. In the Facebook, they don't disappear.
Yeah.
Past never past.
Yes, it's always there.
Yeah.
And thank you, Fang-Mei, for this opportunity, and thanks to all of you who are viewing this, and I hope you will implement the ideas quickly, immediately.
他说谢谢大家的收看啊，把这个我刚才学的那些技巧就可以把它用。如果你要更详细，就读我的书你就可以读得更详细哈。If you want to know more, then you may pick some books and read. You know, the book is popular everywhere. You can find it. If you are in Taiwan, you can read my book first.
Yes, and contact Fang-Mei. She will help you.
Yeah, and actually, I'm here to give them my book. 我来这里是要送给他们书，因为我书里面有很多照片是他们送给我的，所以你们可以看，就是很珍贵的照片。I say the book they give me a lot of good pictures. I include this book. So if you are in Taiwan, you can read this book. Okay, and Sandie, any last words for us?
Thanks to Sandie too.
Yes, thank you, Sandie. Yeah.
Thank you very much, and we enjoyed this. This was fun.
Yeah, Sandie 她也很高兴。Okay, so how do we finish? We say reality therapy.
Olé.
Reality therapy. Olé! Thank you very much. 谢谢大家的收看，今天很高兴来跟他们聚会。拜拜。
Bye.